Welcome to the Sharpe Way show. Yes, it is 7 p.m. on the East Coast on a Wednesday. And we have a special show. We do. We have a special Wednesdays with Kathy Hochul. Yes, my governor gave an amazing, my governor gave an amazing, well, I don't know if I call it amazing. My governor gave a state of the state address today. I'm not sure if I would call it amazing, but I'm sure she thought it was. Some people thought it was good, I guess. But yeah, we're talking about today. As always, guys, like, comment, and share. We will discuss what's happening. And you might say, Larry, you and your New York State stuff. You know it's coming to you, right? If we don't stop it here, it's coming to you. Just accept that as true, because it is. And yes, if you want to check out libertarianism, libertarianism.com, click that link. It's in the description. Please check it out to support the show. But I do want to talk about this if I could. She gave a state of the state. And was it better than His Majesty King Cuomo? It wasn't. Cuomo always had grand stuff and would say how awesome and try to do some dumb jokes. And I can hammer him badly. It was a lot of fun with him. Her, not as fun. She's just bad, right? It's not like fun bad. It's just, wow. Just straight bad. Just, that's it. Let's go. You'll look at it and we'll see, as they say, let's go. See if I can get it done now. All right. Here we go.
Thank you, Lieutenant Governor. And you have been doing such an outstanding job in an incredibly short time. And I'm proud to have you by my side as we deliver for the people of New York.
See, what an outstanding job he's been doing. What's he doing? I don't know.
I also want to join him in thanking my partners in government, State Comptroller Tom DiNapoli,
because they've been
our
doing
Attorney General Tish James.
Yep, killing
Majority
Leader
Leader
Trump.
Andrea Stewart-Cousins of the Senate.
Tish James just to sit next to her now, not running for office anymore. Now instead just going to drop all the charges for Cuomo and attack Trump. I guess that is good if you're a Democrat.
Senate,
well done.
Assembly Majority Leader Crystal Peoples-Stokes. And we do hope that Speaker of the Assembly Carl Heastie gets well soon. I also want to thank Pastor Solomon Dees and to Ellie Nevrat for representing the Girl Scouts so well.
See that?
As I stand before you,
tell me.
I'm well aware of the significance of this moment.
Why?
The first time in New York's history that a woman has delivered this annual address.
You know, I got to tell you, I was looking at that, right? I was saying to myself, of all the stuff that's happening in New York State, you know what I'm really concerned about? The fact that a woman's the first time a woman's ever delivered this speech. I didn't care at all. And to be forward with you, until she said that, I didn't even think it. Sadly, and this is my fault, sadly, I just saw her as my terrible governor. I didn't see her as my terrible woman governor. That's not how I saw her. I didn't care at all. She's just terrible. Woman or not, Cuomo was a man. He's a man's man. But and he was terrible too. So, of course, that's the first thing she says. Thanks other government workers, and then talks about she's a woman. It doesn't make you better or worse.
But I didn't come here to make history.
Yes, you did.
I came here to make a difference.
No, you didn't.
And to be sure, I have a deep reverence for our state's remarkable past. And we're honoring it by coming together in this beautiful assembly chamber. Its original and rightful setting with elected leaders joined together to serve the public.
You base you're honoring government.
I'm rather fond of quoting a former member of this body, one-time Governor Teddy Roosevelt, who said, it's not the critic who counts.
Yeah.
The credit belongs to the man, or shall I say the woman, who's actually in the arena.
Yeah.
To my colleagues and partners in government, for too long, Albany's executive and legislative branches were fighting each other in that arena.
Oh.
No more.
Okay.
That ends now.
Wow.
What I am proposing is a whole new era for New York.
Oh, so no more debate. You're just going to run everything yourself. Okay, that's a way of doing things. You can just, but I thought that was the last guy was doing it. The last guy was doing that already. They were all kind of just doing it themselves. You know, the arena isn't that. The arena is all of us fighting outside trying to survive. That you've actually put us against each other with your policies. The arena's outside.
The days of governors disregarding the rightful role of this legislature are over.
Right?
The days of the governor of New York and the mayor of New York City wasting time on petty rivalries are over.
Okay.
The days of New Yorkers questioning whether their government is actually working for them are over.
Okay, so now we're going to be sure that it's not working for us. I guess that's better. We don't have to. Look, if I'm going to have certainty, I guess it's true. I can be certain that you're not working for me at all. Okay.
And the days of 3 men in a room are clearly over. Just ask the majority leader. And we know that women are always held to a higher standard.
Oh my God, yes. The days of men, and because it's not men, all of a sudden it's good. No, you can be, you know what? I'm going to be totally fair. You can be just as bad as a man. How about that? Is that fair? You can be just as bad or just as good in theory, not in practice, obviously, because you're not, but in theory, you can be just as good. You can be just as bad. And so can your attorney general and all your leaders. They can all be bad.
So I know that I must not just meet, but exceed expectations for this to no longer be an historic achievement, but rather the norm.
So what you're saying is if you're just a good governor, everyone will think you're bad because you're a woman. That's what she just said. Because you're a woman, you must do so much better. Look, to be forward, very often women do have to work harder to get someplace. That's often true. That is often true. Not always, but that's often true. All right. So if she's going to say, you know, I'm proud that I got here or I worked harder to get here, that's often true. But now you're here. You can stop playing the card now. You're here now. People aren't. There have been women governors, but you're not the first woman governor in our that's ever been. There have been women governors. Texas had a woman governor. I mean, is it Alabama now, or is Mississippi has a woman governor now? Is it Alabama? I think it's Alabama has a female governor now. South Dakota. There's women governors. This is not impressive.
So we'll do things differently. From now on, we'll share success. We'll find common ground.
Look at that.
We'll restore trust in this government because it's been eroded for far too long. And we will fight like hell, not for turf, not for credit,
but
for New Yorkers.
Oh.
I've been proud to stand with the members of this legislature, signing more than 400 of your bills into law since September.
Why are you proud of that? The state's falling apart. The economy is shot. People are running away. I'm proud that I sign rules that make people leave our state. I'm proud I keep signing rules that make nothing better whatsoever. Why? You should be embarrassed about that.
And we're just getting started.
I know.
New Yorkers need the help of everyone in this room to pass an ambitious agenda.
No, we don't.
One that responds to the COVID-19 pandemic, but also rebuilds our healthcare and teacher workforces.
Oh, we have to rebuild the healthcare and teacher workforces. So to be clear, the people who haven't lost their job during this and got their paycheck the whole time, let's focus on those people. That's the critical people to focus on.
Provides tax relief to those who need it the most. Speeds up economic growth and creates good paying middle-class jobs.
How many literally decades have we heard that lie? The government's gonna create good middle-class jobs. We've heard that lie for how many decades in this state? It's embarrassing that people still buy it. It never works ever. And we're like, oh, good, now finally the government's gonna just magically create these jobs. How you do it? By more regulation that pushes business out of our state? What?
Strengthens our infrastructure and confronts climate change.
Oh, and climate change.
Secures public safety, makes housing more affordable, ensures that every New Yorker has a roof over their heads.
Man, you're gonna make every New Yorker have a roof over their head. This is great. She's gonna guarantee every New Yorker has a roof over their head. Okay, you know what? My opinion on this one, do what you want, Your Majesty. That's kind of godlike. You're going to fail on that one for sure. You're probably going to fail on all these things. But that one for sure you're going to fail. Oh, my God. Let me grab a couple because some people are good. Yes. Michael says those jobs never happen. Yes, ever. Ever. Absolutely. 100%. Never happens ever. So, yes. Matthew says Texas had Ann Richards and Alabama has K.I. Right. Alabama, not Mississippi. Thank you for that. Absolutely. 100%. Yes, already. Glenn says, I'm gone in November if Larry doesn't win. I can't take it anymore. A lot of people are saying that. Yes. Francis says 400 bills. I know. It's bad, isn't it? It's, yeah. Yeah. That's funny. Yeah. All right. Anyway, sorry. Yes, Miss Maxwell is definitely an opportunity of a woman being very bad. Women can be bad and good. Absolutely. Pete says the best way to catch the common COVID is to stand in line for 5 hours waiting to test it for the common COVID. Works every time, Pete. Works every time. Thank you for that, guys. I appreciate that.
And enact, yes, bold reforms for our state government.
Bold reform. Okay.
My fellow New Yorkers, this agenda is for you.
It's for
Every
me.
single initiative is filtered through the lens of how to help you and your families.
Look at you, gonna help me.
Because I know you're exhausted.
I am
I
exhausted.
know you want this pandemic to be over.
I
know you're worried about the economy, inflation, your kids, their education, and what the future holds.
It's all for me, though. Okay,
We
good.
have
You're
endured so much hardship over these past 2 years.
You have created a whole lot of hardship. It's true.
We've buried loved ones.
Yep.
Experienced seismic shifts in our daily lives.
Yes, you've created
We
that.
missed out on so many of life's precious milestones.
You have
holidays,
stopped that.
Weddings, graduations,
All
the
those.
birth of a grandchild.
And yes, we've missed all those things. And the thing that I love about her, that's the same as Cuomo, is all these things bad happen, and it just happens. Someone else. Cuomo used to say, we have to do these things. And I'm saying to myself, you've been in charge. Why didn't you do them? Now she goes, we've had to endure all these things. You haven't. You haven't. We have. But you haven't. And all of them could have been changed the second you came on board. Right? The king before you set all the punishment into play. You could have ended all the punishment if you wanted to. You doubled down. So yes, you're right. We've endured all the things that you have put upon us. If you don't put those things upon us, we don't have to endure them. But sadly, as you speak, there are people outside going, yes, it's true. Can you please save us, Your Majesty? So she is going to save you from her punishment. So she's been punishing you and goes, you know what? I won't punish you that much. And you go, oh, thank you. You are a generous, glorious goddess. Yes.
There's been so much loss, too many lives, and too many of our hopes and dreams.
Yes.
And now, just when we thought we were turning a corner, there's a new variant, another surge in cases.
Look at that. Just as we thought we were turning a corner, there's a new variant, which is not deadly at all. And I will now triple down.
Feels like deja vu.
Yeah.
And I know you're all asking, will we ever get through this?
Okay, let me answer that question. I'm actually not asking that question at all. Some people are asking that question. I'm not, because we will never get through this. All the stuff you did last time cost us, what, 800,000 dead people? Now it's happening again. So what are you going to do? The same thing. Huh. You could not do that thing. And lots of other problems have happened because of what you did, which now is getting worse, which you just said we've endured, so we should stop enduring it, but now you're doubling down. Is no one else getting this? This is your fault. You can just say no.
Yes, we will.
No, we won't. Stop lying.
We're New Yorkers.
We're New Yorkers. And what does that mean? Here's what it actually means. We're New Yorkers, which means most of us are passive sheep who do whatever our leaders say. That's what she wants to respond that way. The vast majority of us will just sit back and take whatever I do. So we'll never get past this, and you'll be happy. 2 weeks to flatten the curve is now 2 years. People are leaving us that there's no tomorrow. Our kids aren't getting an education with a dam. Our school system is garbage. Our hospitals are overflowing. And she's like, yeah, we're New Yorkers. We'll just keep taking it.
Knocked down before, we've been counted out. But in response, we never fail to defy the odds and rise to new heights.
When?
New York always rises from the ashes.
When? When did that happen? New York has been losing people since 9/11. What are you talking about? We have not risen. Where's the rising part? You've made that up.
And that is what I believe. This is not a moment of despair.
Okay.
But a moment of great possibility.
Oh, possibility.
Because while we're in the midst of an all-consuming crisis,
while you're creating this horrible crisis, keep going.
we also remember that if we make the right choices right now, it will end.
So you can give us a choice. Oh, you're not going to give us any choices, are you? I'm sorry. So what you mean is, if you follow my dictates, I might let it end. I'm just going to translate for you. If we make the right choice, we don't get a choice. Do what we say or leave the state.
First, we must weather the storm around us. And that means controlling this virus, but not letting it control us.
Oh, okay. That sounds great. Control the virus, but don't let it control us. I love that. So you're going to remove all the mandates and let us be humans again, right? Clearly, that's what she meant. She meant let us be humans, live our lives so that we can figure out how to survive with the virus. Because guess what, guys? COVID-19 is bad. There's going to be something worse. And if this is our answer for COVID-19, what happens when Ebola comes? The country's finished.
When I took office, we immediately enacted a comprehensive pandemic plan.
Oh.
We've continued to adapt as new variants like Omicron have emerged.
Oh, we've adapted.
We're doing everything we can to keep New Yorkers healthy.
I'm trying to remember again. When did we amend the Constitution in New York State to where the governor's job was to keep New Yorkers healthy? Right. Never. That's when it was. Never. She made that up. She literally just pulled it out of thin air. She made that up. That did not happen. Or when did she change the oath? The oath was changed to say, I will defend the Constitution and make sure that every New Yorker is safe. That happened never. Right. You made that up. Never happened.
Policies that have made our vaccination rate one of the highest in the country.
We have one of the highest vaccination rates in the country. How come people are dying? It's not working. Whatever you're doing is not working.
Activating a military-style operation with vaccine test sites.
You still fighting World War II.
Deploying the National Guard to our hospitals and nursing homes.
That worked out so well.
Sending out 37 million kits across the state.
You sent out 37 million test kits, told everybody to get tested, and said, oh my God, I can't believe we have a massive influx in cases. You sent out 36 million tests that didn't exist before. You yelling at everyone to get tested. You made policies that said you must either get vaccinated or test. You said people can't go to work unless they're tested. There's more cases. The hospitals are full of people that have COVID. Yeah, you did that.
During this winter surge, our laser focus is on keeping kids in school.
But why do you want to keep kids in school if we're all going to die from Omicron?
Businesses open and New Yorkers.
Businesses open by creating mandates that you can't go to work unless you do what you say. That's your laser focus on keeping businesses open? You need to get another laser. It's not working. That's the wrong, or you focus on the wrong, so you need glasses, something.
Lives as normal as possible.
We're
attacking this virus head on, armed with a tactical science-based approach.
That's what it is. The tactical science-based approach. Okay, didn't look like that for me. Looked like you were just kind of grabbing at straws and making stuff up. That's what it looked like to me, but I could be wrong. Maybe I just don't understand science.
Are ready for whatever comes next.
You are ready.
But as we all know too well, this is more than a public health crisis.
Is that right?
We now need to support the people, the places, the industries that you destroyed the hardest.
Yes, we have to support all the people that you personally are responsible for crushing. That's true. That'd be nice. That's a good idea. Yes.
Starting with New Yorkers who've been on the front line since day one.
Oh, you mean those people who you then made have a mandate for vax and or mask and you fired? Those people, you want to support those? Or just the ones who made the right choices, who did what you said, those people? Which ones? I'm not sure which one. Can you be clear on that one?
During those terrifying early months, while many hunkered down at home, our healthcare workers and first responders showed up.
You're right.
Day after day, night after night.
And they didn't even know that, as far as they knew, this could have been Ebola. They didn't know up front. And those people stepped up when in their mind, obviously it's not Ebola, but they didn't know that then. They were rushing in. Those were heroes, 100%. They were sitting there on the front line when this could have been Ebola. They had no idea what this was going to be. This could have been horrible. This could have been a 90% death rate. They had no idea, but they were there. Did it anyway. Heroes. And you said, yeah, you got to get a vax now or I'm going to fire you. And you get no benefits. So, thanks.
Double shift after double shift.
Tell me how bad
putting their
it was.
lives on the line to save others.
And you didn't even say a word when Cuomo wasn't allowing doctors from out of state to come in to help them. Or when people didn't want certificates of need so they can make more beds. You didn't say a word. You were quiet. You were quiet.
They're not only physically exhausted,
Yeah, what
they're
else?
emotionally exhausted too.
They are. This is true.
I know, I've seen it in their eyes in hospitals from Buffalo to Potsdam just this last week.
See?
That exhaustion combined with pre-existing staffing shortages.
Pre-existing staffing shortages. Did you hear that lie? Blatant lie. That's not the reason why. Why in the world why would you have pre-existing staffing shortages? Well, maybe because you won't let people come into our state and work when they have license from other states. Some of you may not know this, but if you get licensed like Connecticut, you can't work in New York State. You have to have a New York State license. Because those Connecticut doctors, they're all bad. Only New York State doctors are good. That's our law. That's how dumb we are. Yeah, that's how stupid we are, backward we are, that we have that kind of rule. So how can it be pre-existing? And we're not going to mention the fact that now there's a shortage because you made mandates to get them fired. And those who weren't fired, you've now forced testing on all of these people. So they're all calling out sick that we can't get anything. If you're in New York City, you can't get things. People aren't showing up because they all call out because they're sick, because you yelled at everybody to get tested for an Omicron variant that isn't deadly. Well, compared to the other ones. It's not pre-existing. It is Hochul existing. This is all the damage you're speaking of, you did. You were responsible for. And you're acting like it's just an act of God that made these people go away. No, it was an act of you. Oh, you and God. Maybe, okay. Maybe it was an act of God. A God, maybe.
Has resulted in a crisis.
Yes.
We simply do not have enough healthcare workers in our hospitals.
You're right. But you were talking last month, I was here saying it, about it was a bed shortage. And I said it wasn't a bed shortage. It was a personnel shortage because of your policies. You didn't say that then. I guess enough people went in your ear and said, you got to stop. Larry Sharpe's killing you on this. You got to come clean. And she came clean. I hope somebody who is in your staff is watching my show and is telling you to get better, because it is your fault.
Or in our long-term care facilities.
Yep.
In our ambulances, or in the homes of our loved ones.
You can't get an ambulance. They're actually asking people in New York City. They're saying, they're putting out posts, please stop calling an ambulance for COVID. People are calling an ambulance to get a COVID test at a hospital. That's a thing. So now you have a heart attack or you got having a stroke. You can't get an ambulance because Johnny's scared he might have COVID, so he called the ambulance to get a COVID test. That's a real thing here. That's because of her. It's because of her.
The health of every New Yorker depends on strong, stable, and equitable healthcare system.
Equitable.
And these workers are its very foundation.
I like that.
Bold action is required before any more time passes.
I agree. You should remove all those things that you put in place. That will be a bold action if you got rid of them all. I agree.
First, we must stop the current hemorrhaging of healthcare workers.
I love that. It's good. You're going to end the mandates and let people come from other states that you should have been doing 2 years ago. By the way, that was literally my plan 2 years ago. That was my plan 2 years ago.
And we're going to do it, not just by saying we owe them a debt of gratitude,
okay,
but actually paying them the debt we owe.
Go pay them.
Starting with a retention bonus of up to $3,000.
So you're going to bribe them to stay, which, okay, so the state is going to write a check again. That's all the state does. Where's this money coming from? So the state's going to write a check for $3,000. You let the cops go to Florida for $5,000. You okay with that? Cops can go. You let them all go, right? The cops are going to Florida to get their $5,000 bonus that their governor's giving them. And you're deciding to keep hospital people here for $3,000. That's even cheaper than cops. But you did $3,000 for them to stay. What about the people you already fired? Do they get that money? They don't, do they? They don't. The people who do what you say get $3,000. Huh. That's how that works. So the people who were the frontline workers and the heroes, those people who you recently fired because of mandates, they don't get $3,000. It's just the heroes that did what you say. But what if you have someone, as an example, who just came aboard? Maybe they became a nurse or a doctor or a professional 3 months ago. So they really weren't on the front lines, but then they decided to stay. They get $3,000 too? Yeah. The $3,000 isn't helping heroes. The $3,000 is bribing those who do what you say. That's what this is. It sounds nice. The way you said it was a lot better. I got to give it to you. That was a lot nicer how you said it. But what you're actually doing is bribing people to stay because your system sucks. That's the reason. If you got to bribe people to stay, your system sucks. We're not going to change the system, though, will we? No. We'll just bribe people. And the people who left, well, they clearly won't vote for you because they're clearly evil people for whatever reason, so they don't get the money. I guess you'll leave New York State.
For our health and direct care workers that'll help drive salaries throughout the healthcare workforce.
That's what it'll do, drive salaries.
So those
government will come in and force everyone to pay more because that works every time. What could go wrong?
Doing God's work here on oath are no longer paid a minimum wage.
See that? Yeah. So minimum wage, we're going to get more than that. Okay.
Salaries will make it easier for doctors and nurses from other states to practice with their existing.
Look at that. You can allow this. It only took you 2 years. I should be happy, I guess. I should be happy. Your people obviously watched my video and said, this Larry Sharpe's got some good ideas. You might want to take one. How about this one? Yeah, you would think it's been 2 years. Why isn't this already in play? New York State's been suffering for years now. And she's like, you know what we should do? Maybe more doctors? You figure it out? Better late than never.
Licenses here in New York.
Yep.
We'll expand the capacity of our medical institutions so more students can train for high demand health.
So to help with COVID, we're going to allow more training for students. Now, maybe I'm wrong on this, but I think for you to get some form of medical degree, whatever that degree might be, it's at least 6 years. Am I right? I mean, there might be some that are like 4 years. I don't know every medical degree, but I think it's at least 6 years. Some are like 8, 10, 12 years, right? Depending upon what you do and how you do stuff, right? I thought you're fixing it now. This is at least 4 years now, minimum, if not 6, 8, 10 years. How long is COVID going to last? Why is this part of your plan? Why is this part of your plan? If you're just going to fix COVID because you love us, this shouldn't be part of your plan, should it? This is a 4 to 10 year plan that you're speaking about for COVID. I'm getting scared already. Yes. So, all right, and keep going. Joe says the first woman governor was 97 years ago. Is that right? That's an interesting one. Yeah, I knew she wasn't the first. So I did know. Yep. Let's see here if I can keep doing this. A couple more of these. David says, wait, she isn't using the term climate justice. Ooh, that is a good one. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, 100%. Matt says 400 bills. I'd like to know the content of these 400, considering I know of at most 10. Matt, you don't need to know. Just don't need to know. Science, it's whatever. It's fine. Yes. So James says the only jobs, I'm kidding you, by the way, you know I am. Only jobs government can create are government jobs. And that's what they do. Tons and tons and tons. John says, I'm going to tag you in every single one of her posts. Thank you, my friend. That's awesome. I appreciate that. Yes. Yes. All right, let's see if I can do here. Chelsea says, why is there mass testing going on with the same PCR tests that the CDC admitted were faulty? Yes, that's correct. And you also get false positives after you've had it. If you've had it, you might still get it again a couple months later. You may still pop positive, even though you're not. Yes. Avi says, the most horrifying part of this is that the woke Dems in this state are inspired by this word salad of empty platitudes. Yes, Avi, you are correct. I wish you were wrong, Avi. I wish I could stand here and say you're wrong. But I cannot because you are right. They love this stuff. They eat this stuff up, 100%. This woman's the devil. Like a robot, she always has a smile on her face and uses sterilized language to keep the stupid and the ignorant clapping seals cheering as their cost of living go up and keep them as her dependents. Correct, correct, and correct. I agree. So, all righty. Let's see here. Glenn says, I literally have COVID right now. It's like a cold. Maybe. Steven says, let Larry lead. I'm with you. Let me lead. Absolutely. 100%. Yes. James says she hasn't put us completely in ashes yet. It's true. Jimmy goes, she's working on it, though. She is. Not yet, though. Yes. Joe says, mandate the virus be gone. Joe, you should be her advisor. That would do it right there. That's right. If she would just mandate it being gone, it would be gone. Brilliant. Joe, you got all the answers, man. I love that. Yes. All righty. Let's see here. David says, well, how can we control the virus if there's a new variant every other month? Yes. I think that's the point. That's why that 4-year plan she's got. Yeah, absolutely. Let me grab a couple more if I could, a little bit longer.
Care jobs. And we'll make it possible for them to get that training with free tuition and stipend.
Wait a minute. I thought, don't you remember this? Didn't Cuomo speak about free college. Remember the Excelsior plan? We had free college in New York State years ago. Isn't that what they said? Yeah, that was a lie and it was bad. And now every 5 minutes everyone promises free college. I thought we had free college.
If they remain here after they graduate.
If they remain after they graduate. So we will bribe you to stay in my state. If I have to bribe you to stay in my state sucks. Don't you guys get that? If you've got to bribe people, it's bad. You shouldn't have to bribe people. But that's all they know. All they know is write checks, write checks, write checks. And I'm going to ask you, anyone, if you're watching right now, if you're listening to me right now, everyone knows our state's economy is in shambles. And she'll bring it up because she has to. But all we do is write more checks. Where's that money coming from?
A once-in-a-lifetime pandemic demands a once-in-a-lifetime response.
This is a
And that's
once-in-a-lifetime
why
pandemic.
I'm setting an ambitious goal to grow our healthcare workforce by 20% over the next.
So we're going to grow our healthcare force by 20%, even though supposedly we're going to get past COVID. I thought we're going to get it past COVID, like soon. Did she just tell us yes? Why would we need 20% more healthcare workers?
Next 5 years.
Next 5 years.
And we'll make the largest.
Okay, so you plan on being here for at least 5 years, and you're going to grow the health. Why would you have to do that? Because COVID's never going away.
Investment in healthcare in states' history, $10 billion. You know, as we both.
$10 billion. Who's going to put out healthcare? The state is. Or I'm going to say something crazy. I know you guys think I'm nuts when I say this. Or you could simply end certificates of need and let people invest in hospitals that they see fit. I know, crazy, but you could try that. And you might say, well, Larry, how do we know if it'll work? Because all non-essential medical care, like body enhancements, LASIK eye surgery, cosmetic dentistry, that's how they run. And somehow, in every single case, we've gotten more accessibility, more people getting it, price has gone down. People are pretty happy with all of those procedures. Yeah, you could try that model, which already worked. Or you could take a state that's already $500 billion in debt and throw another $10 billion of debt on it. You could do that. Economy's flailing, people are leaving, you just go into more debt. You could. That's another option, I guess.
Bolster our bone-tired healthcare workforce. We know they aren't the only heroes of the pandemic.
Oh, they're not.
I am so grateful to the county leaders, school superintendents.
The county leaders and school superintendents who never lost their job or missed even one paycheck. Those people who, by the way, most county supervisors make in the high six figures, $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 a year. I'm not joking. Do your homework if you're making it up. So now someone who makes $200,000 a year, who never lost their job, didn't miss a paycheck. I feel so sorry for those. My heart is breaking for these people. You got paid $200,000 to not go to school. Oh, let's give them more money too. Don't write a check, $3,000.
Parents and teachers who work so closely with us to get kids back to school just this week.
See that? When I thought COVID was killing us all.
It's irreplaceable in a child's life.
A teacher is irreplaceable in a child's life. How about their father? Talk about that one at all? How about, look, maybe it's me. Maybe I'm the nutty one again. I feel like a teacher is important. Yes, but they go through teachers, lots of them. So kind of by default, they're replaceable. Literally, every year they get new ones. So what you're saying is absolute horseshit. They literally get replaced every year. It's irreplaceable. We replace them every year. Except maybe in high school, you might keep some of the same ones. You may keep some of the same ones in college, maybe. But usually you swap your teachers out. So they're clearly replaceable. Not just that. How about the father? You think about that one? All the fathers getting their butt kicked in family court now because they lost their jobs? How about that? Can't see their kids? Alienation? Just think about that piece. No. Administrators and irreplaceable teachers. That's just garbage pandering. I'm not any teacher. You know I'm not. I'm just kind of pro-father compared to teacher. The father who lost his job or couldn't work or lost his business or has to pack up and leave versus a teacher, or worse, The administrator who makes $200,000 or $300,000 a year, let's feel sorry for them. What is wrong with New Yorkers? Why do you like her so much? She's so terrible. She has such disdain for you. She doesn't speak about you at all. This is all about helping you out. But all she's helping is government workers. She's mentioned government workers and helping out government workers who've not lost their jobs. Those who lost their job, sorry, sucker. Those who haven't, will reward them. And we're still getting behind her. Why?
And as the last 2 years have hammered home, they're irreplaceable in a parent's life too. As a mother, I know this firsthand.
Then you don't know what you're talking about. You must be a bad mother. Because you've rotated through teachers also. I'm a father. My kid has different teachers every year. I have 2 kids. They have different teachers. Clearly, they're replaceable.
This workforce is also stressed and overworked. So we will ramp up efforts to recruit and retrain teachers with more effective training and support.
Because the answer isn't the broken system full of overpaid administrators. It's not that. The answer is teachers aren't good enough. They need more training. That's the same garbage that Cuomo said. Teachers in New York State are not undertrained. That's simply not true. Teachers in New York State have to go through a whole lot. If you're a teacher, you know what I'm talking about. Master's degree, all types of hours you got to be put in. The teachers in New York State are trained fine. That isn't the issue. The issue is they won't do as administrators tell them to. That's why they leave. That's the burnout. The burnout's from the BS you put the teachers through and make them do all the other things besides teaching. That's the problem. You don't bring that up. You go, oh, I feel for them, so I'll retrain them because that's what they want. They don't.
Faster and earlier certification and stronger career pipelines and ladders. And we will add more mental health professionals in schools to help heal the wounds inflicted during the isolation of remote learning.
So let's be clear. So what we're going to do now is we're going to put mental health care professionals in schools because that's what parents want. What? So they can start asking questions about your parents. I'm not joking. That's real. They're going to start asking questions about your parents, and your kids are going to start spilling the beans about your parents. Watch when they start putting mental health professionals in schools, how many kids they're going to remove from their parents. You're going to start losing kids out of their households. That's going to happen because they're kids. They don't know any better. They say stupid things because when you were a kid, you said stupid things. All kids say stupid things because they're kids, and they will, and then get their parents in trouble. That's going to happen. Her plan takes kids out of families, makes more foster kids, and makes more kids in the system. That's what her plan will do. I have another idea. You could stop punishing them because she says all the damage from isolation. Who made that isolation? You did. You did. When your predecessor was doing it, your mouth was shut. You didn't have a word to say. You were saying how awesome Cuomo is. And then when you got in charge, I'm trying to remember all the policies that you reversed. Hold on, then there was, none of them. Not one of them. You did not, in any way, shape, or form, go back at all. You are directly responsible for their pain. And your answer is, don't worry. I know I screwed you over. Here's a therapist. Be fine. It'll be fine. We'll give you a therapist. You'll be fine. I know I've ruined your life and your career. Here's a therapist. It's fine. You'll be good.
Others are hurting as well. Families, small business owners, farmers.
Whoa.
They all need our help.
Okay, so now we went to some people. That's not bad. She is talking about farmers and those. That's not bad. It's something. Okay. Okay. Not bad.
And they need it now. And they're going to get it.
Oh, well,
we will accelerate a $1.2 billion tax cut originally scheduled to take effect between now and 2020.
So now they're going to get a $1.2 billion tax cut. I like how that sounds. Sounds great. It does. Sounds amazing. $1.2 billion tax cut. I love that. But your spending is at least 100 extra spending, 100 times than that. So your tax cut. How are you going to pay for that? Raise property taxes? Going to raise school tax? Going to raise income tax? What you going to do? Got to raise something. That's just garbage, you said.
So that it occurs a lot earlier. That means more than 6 million middle-class taxpayers. She
said between now and 2025, 3 years from now. It's going to happen a lot earlier. So what, 2 years from now? They're starving now.
Will get more money in their pockets sooner. at a time when inflation is robbing them of any gains in income.
You're right. You mentioned inflation. I love that. Inflation is robbing them of gains. Who would be responsible for the inflation in New York State? Right. You would be responsible for that heavy inflation in New York State because you won't let people work. So you have more money for less products and services. So you have more inflation. Yeah. Kind of you. And you're still hurting it.
To help with property taxes,
we'll
provide a $1 billion middle-class property tax rebate.
Look at that,
more than 2 million homeowners.
So 2 million homeowners are going to get some money back. That's nice. I like that. That's not a bad thing, right? So $1 billion to 2 million, right? What is that? $1,000 a person? Whatever that is, $500 a person? $500? It's not bad. It's nice. But what's going to happen when you do that rebate, but all local places raise all the property taxes even more? It's nothing. It's nothing. Sounds
and help get parents back to work. We're going to expand access to affordable childcare to 100,000 more working families.
So you're going to expand access to affordable child health care. What's a child care? What does that mean? How do you expand access to affordable child care? I had a plan for childcare, local childcare, creating child gardens. That was an actual plan. What's hers? She's going to write more checks so that people will build out more childcare. That's what will happen. What if you don't like that childcare? What if it's bad childcare? You don't get a choice. It's government. Shut up and take it. You now have childcare. Be quiet. And what does that mean? More of a check. Check, 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 and check. That's all it is. Checkbox, checkbox. There we go. Joe says 2 more firing of nurses to flatten the curve. Yes, absolutely. They just keep firing. Yes. Glenn says tyranny from a woman just feels better. I mean, look, Glenn, some men pay for that. And if you're paying for it, I'm actually okay for that. I mean, that's you, do you. I'm not voluntarily paying for that. I mean, I have to pay for my taxes, but it's not voluntary, right? If you want to voluntarily get a tyrannical woman, on you. No worries, no judgment from me. I wouldn't pick her anyway, but I'm saying, yeah, that's what I'll stop there if that's good. Yes. Kurt says a vicious cycle of BS. Yes. Also correct. Yes. Jess says, thank you, Larry Sharpe, for calling her out. Nobody else will. Nobody else will. And that's true. No one's going to sit and go through this and just call out her BS. No one's going to do that. You don't see it. I'm the only guy who I did with Cuomo. I did with her. No one else does. Absolutely. 100%. All right. Let's see here. Logic says the only thing I'm happy about is that recently I seen a report saying that Hochul supports term limits for the governorship. The faster we get rid of the God Queen, the better. She does, yes, but the odds are it's not going to pass because the legislature doesn't want it because they think they're next. So the odds are it will not pass. But yes, that's true. Yes, absolutely, 100%. All righty. Let's see if I can grab here. Lou says Glenn Jr. These administrators are horrible. They are. It's yes, Lewis. She's correct. He's correct. Sorry. Totally correct. Yes. 100% correct. Yes. All right. Let's see if I can go down here. All right. Larry Sharpe be like, I only respect the frontline workers who left due to refusing the vaccine mandates. Like 30% of them left due to mandates. No. You are incorrect. L'ouverture. Am I saying it right? No, incorrect. I respect all of them. I don't want to diss that 3% who left. That's the difference, right? I don't want to diss them. They should all, if you're going to give it, all should get it. I'm not dissing the people who are frontline workers. I'm actually more inclusive, right? And the right thing to be inclusive. Supposed to be inclusive? Yes. Supposed to be inclusive. Yes. So Letitia says not all daughters in the same field. 100%. Yeah. So that's the difference, right? Some are going to be longer. Some are going to be shorter. Absolutely. Yeah. Well, how long? Yeah. I completely agree. Yes. Let's see if I can keep going here. See here. Grab a couple more. You guys keep going. I appreciate all of these. So, all right. Letitia says we have assisted college problem information, social groups passing the pan. I'm not sure what that means. I'm not sure. Yeah, I don't know that. Yeah. Shelly says, I'm old and no program has ever kept our talent youth from leaving. Correct, Shelly. I'm with you. Doesn't work. None of them have worked. People have been leaving for years. It's not working. Yes. 100%. It's not working. 100%. Yes. So, all right. Let me keep going.
and invest $75 million in childcare worker wages.
That's what it is. $75 million in child care worker wages. So the government's just going to pay child care workers more. That's her answer. We'll just pay people more. We won't let businesses figure it out. We won't let people figure it out. We won't let communities figure it out. I, as your queen, believe that child care workers are valuable, so I will pay them more. And that's going to magically allow more access to child care workers?
And we will deliver $100 million in much-needed relief to nearly 200,000 small businesses.
So the answer is we're going to write checks with strings attached to a bunch of small businesses. Or you could have let them work 2 years ago so they wouldn't need your help. That was another option. You're going to write checks. How are you going to write all these checks to all these businesses? And it's $100 million, which is nice. But how many businesses are there? 100,000 that need help? 200,000 need help? Say 100,000 need help. I mean, there's over 100,000 already out of business. So there's 100,000 left who need help. That's nice. But if it's 100,000 of them, what's that? $1,000 a piece? Is my math off? Is that right? Is that right? $1,000 a piece? That's nothing. That's not relief. You have at least a $50 billion shortfall. Your $100 million is nothing. That's a joke. Sounds good. You're going to give more money to healthcare workers than that. Yes, you're going to give more workers to schools than that. You start with your big plan for schools and household workers, and then businesses. Oh, you get $1,000. Oh, you're a homeowner. You get $500. We're going to raise your property tax and school tax to pay for all the other stuff. $3,000, but we'll give you $500 rebate of the $3,000 we're going to charge you. And you businesses, you can't work. You cannot work. However, we're going to give you $1,000, so you'll be fine. Your kids are broken. It's fine. We're going to give you a therapist. It's all good. All the damage I've done, $1,000 and therapist. Have a nice day. Vote Hochul.
Keep their doors open and weather what the next few months bring. These businesses are the economic engines of small towns and big cities alike. They're what make our communities unique and give them personality. I should know. I've shopped.
They don't exist. They're going away.
Shopped and eaten in diners in most of them. Also, I helped my mother start a small flower shop, and my sister started a tech company. So I know firsthand how hard it is. I know the risk taken by owners and entrepreneurs.
You know firsthand because you helped others. You wrote them checks, so you know firsthand. That's not firsthand. That's investors. That's not knowing firsthand. That's investments.
And the barriers faced by women.
Women, of course.
So many small businesses are pushed to the brink. Thousands of bars and restaurants, the soul of our neighborhoods.
You did it. And not just women, by the way. Men, too, have also suffered. Now, to be fair, more women have suffered in this self-inflicted wound than men. That's true, right? More women, but not business owners. More women in the workforce have suffered because they've had to come home and stay with their children because she shut the schools down. I mean, the schools were a disaster, right? That's more women were affected than men. But men were affected too. When it comes to entrepreneurship, who cares if it's a man or a woman? You're fighting the same battle. You're eating the same dirt. It doesn't matter.
Have had to close.
Yes.
For others hanging on by a thread.
They haven't randomly. It's like she doesn't, I don't know, who is she talking to? You know, somebody shut these businesses down. I don't know, somebody. If only that person would take some responsibility. It's you. Look in the mirror. It's you.
Survival depends on whether they can create more space outdoors. A tough task during our New York winters.
Or you could not make them do that. You're making them do that. You could not do that.
To help offset these costs,
okay,
we'll provide a tax credit for COVID-related purchases like outdoor heating.
A tax credit. See that? You're not making any money. You're already way in debt. We'll give you a tax credit to spend even more money for outdoor heating because that's the answer. You have that in New York City now. You have a bunch of outdoor places all throughout New York City, taking away all of the parking, so people can't park or drive in the city anymore. I'm exaggerating, but it's even much harder. And they're sitting out there, no one's in them. No one's going to go to a restaurant in New York City when it's snowing outside. Not doing it. They can sit outside. And they would have to build this. Now build some more stuff. But if you go back a couple years ago, that was against the law. So now it's like, just keep building stuff. Why? You can eat in your house, right? I thought that you're going to have a mask and a vaccine mandate anyway. So mask mandate, vaccine mandate, outside mandate. You know what you care about? Businesses.
And seating. We're also going to do something our bars and restaurants have been asking for, to once again allow the sale of to-go drinks, a critical revenue stream during the lean times.
We're going to allow people to buy drinks to go. Why was that even banned in the first place? Look, she's smiling. Look, we're going to allow you to purchase whatever liquor that you like to purchase and drink it as you like. What? Thank you. You are a generous queen.
Last year. So cheers, New York. And the farmers who supply our restaurant kitchens and not our own.
Yeah.
They need a lifeline as well.
They do.
I visited farms from Genesee County to the North Fork of Long Island, and life.
And you've done nothing.
Is tough, even in good years.
Life's been tough for many years, and you've been in the public life here for 20, and you've done what for farmers? Nothing. Not a thing.
So we're going to support them.
Oh, how?
Through a tax credit for the overtime hours they are paying.
For the
an increase in the infant
tax credit for overtime hours. I bet farmers are jumping for joy right now. They can't believe it. Oh my God, I can't get anybody to work. But in theory, if I could get someone to work, I could take off some taxes for overtime. Farm saved. That's her help. She's writing checks to people who haven't lost their job in 2 years. They haven't missed a paycheck. She's writing checks to them for $3,000. She's supporting people, administrators who make $200,000 and $300,000 a year and haven't missed a paycheck. And you're a farmer? If you have some overtime, you get a tax credit. Yeah, it's good. It's fine. That's her response for them because she cares about farmers. Or you could do what I've been talking about, is treat them like small businesses. Give them the same benefits of small businesses. Allow them to use their land as they see fit so they can build out both retail and or wholesale establishments on their land. You could do that. You could allow that if they don't sell outside of New York State, that they're immune from all federal regulatory bodies. You could do that. If you were doing that, farmers right now hearing that would say, oh my God, that'd be amazing, Larry. Yeah, you could stop the stupid cannabis board and let farmers who are in trouble create craft cannabis products, hemp hempcrete, cannabis for sleeping, whatever. You could do that. Because if you did that, bankers would invest in that and they'd be saved. That would save farms, literally. Because now some investor goes, wait a minute, you can do a hempcrete? I love that idea. How much you need? $500,000? Done. Now you've got an investor. Now you don't have a bank taking your farm, which is what happens in New York State. Or having some big farm buy it up for peanuts because you got so much debt on it. But it's okay. You'll give a tax credit for overtime. Problem farming solved in New York State.
Investment tax credit and an extension and doubling of the farm workforce retention credit. This will also begin to address the workforce shortage many farms struggle with as well.
No, it won't. It will not do that at all. No, that's not going to be no, that's incorrect. The black market takes care of that.
This is how we'll begin to help healthcare workers, educators, small business.
Started with healthcare workers and educators because those are the government workers. Those are the most important people. I'm not against government workers, but they're like everybody else. They should be equal to us, not better. They're the same as us. They're New Yorkers who have jobs, who pay bills. Good for you. If you have a government job, good for you. I hope you're paying your bills. I hope you didn't miss a paycheck. All I'm saying is if I'm not the governor, I'm going to treat you like everybody else because you are like everybody else.
Farms and families deal with the devastating economic impacts of COVID.
No. Oh, no, Your Majesty, with respect. With respect, Your Majesty. Not due to COVID, due to Cuomo and you. Not COVID. COVID does not destroy businesses. COVID kills and hurts people. That's what COVID does, usually if they're over 65 with a pre-existing condition. But it can hurt others. But it kills and hurts people. That's what it does. It does not destroy businesses or farms or schools, none of that. Only government can do that. So you did it. This didn't just randomly happen. You did it.
But beyond the pandemic,
Yeah.
my agenda reflects my belief that we cannot allow this virus to grip us so tightly that it constrains us from looking to the future.
Then don't let it. You're the one doing it. You can just not do what you just said. Done.
And longing for a simple return to our pre-pandemic world and way of life would not only be timid and unimaginative, it would ignore our history and go against everything that makes.
Why are you crazy people wanting to go back to the way it was? It never will be. It's unimaginative. You silly people. That's unimaginative. She got the 5-year plan for you.
New York. If we can't embrace the possibilities that come out of times like these, then we fail to honor the legacy of the daring, visionary New Yorkers who came before us.
Which one is that?
The portrait of Franklin Roosevelt that hangs
Roosevelt
above the mantle in the governor's residence.
We had to go back to the 40s for this one. Okay. All the New Yorkers that came before us. Some dude 80 years ago.
Is my daily reminder of what leadership during a crisis is all about.
Oh, you fighting World War II? That's right, I forgot that. That's right. She's fighting World War II. She brings it up all the time. Leadership in the crisis. She thinks she's sending, well, she is sending people to their death. So I guess in a way it's true. She is sending people to their death. She's destroying families like World War II did. So I guess in a way she's fighting World War II because she's choosing to. But I guess she thinks she's sending people to fight on Iwo Jima right now. Okay.
First as governor and then as president, FDR literally rebuilt the economy from the ground up after the crash of 29.
He is literally the reason why we have healthcare problems. Literally his fault. Literally his fault. Yes.
But more than giving people jobs, he gave people hope.
He was giving people jobs.
The policies of his New Deal didn't just help families who lost everything.
They didn't.
They spurred decades of economic growth and the birth of the middle class.
Wasn't his policies. It was the fact that every other power had been bombed into oblivion in World War II. We were the only people building stuff. We were basically a global monopoly. It's easy to be awesome when you're a global monopoly. We're seeing that now as China's building so much stuff, aren't we? The same policies that FDR had, we still have today. How come we aren't that awesome powerhouse manufacturer anymore? Yeah, because the whole planet was bombed out from World War II. So yeah, really easy when you're the only guy making stuff. He inherited a monopoly. It's pretty easy to, you give me a monopoly, I'll win too. That's not impressive.
Again and again, he focused on the storm swirling around him, but kept one eye on the horizon, always planning for the day when the clouds would part. That is exactly what we are doing now.
No, you're not. You are literally creating more clouds. Like you are creating clouds. Everybody wants the clouds to part. You are creating more clouds. That's kind of what he did too. Because I'll leave FDR alone for now.
This pandemic did not create all the problems we're facing today. It simply forced us.
It didn't. You're right. Thank you. Okay. See, every time she speaks, there's something that her and I will agree upon. The pandemic didn't do this. Didn't. The pandemic kills and hurts people. That's all it can do. It can't affect an economy. It can't affect your business. It can only kill and harm people. That's all it can do. Just like in war, people get killed and harmed and wounded. That's what happens. As a Marine, I was taught years ago when I was in the Marine Corps, you must be able to survive in a contaminated environment, and you must still achieve the mission and fight in a contaminated environment. That's what we're taught, even when people get killed and wounded. And if you're a veteran, you know what I'm talking about. People will be killed, they will be wounded, and you will achieve your mission. They don't go, well, let's lock it all down because 2 people got killed, or somebody got wounded. I guess we'll just end the war. That's not what happens. Now, you think you're fighting a war, Your Majesty. You act like it. You talk the trash, but you're not doing what a warrior would do. If you were truly a warrior queen, if you were, then you'd be teaching us to fight, not to surrender and lay down. Good leaders don't go, shh, I got this, go to sleep. Good leaders say, let's go, all of us up, help me, you get up, you get moving. Why aren't you doing something? That's what good leaders do, but you don't know that. You think you're fighting World War II. You're not, it's in your head. It's in your head.
To hold up a mirror and see the cracks in our society that have been so easy to ignore before.
Yeah, it's true. But you learned nothing. That's the worst part. You looked in the mirror and said, perfect. You guys suck. That's what you did. You looked in the mirror and said, amazing. Looked around and said, you guys are all bad. That's what you did. At what point have you taken any responsibility? Miss, look in the mirror. You look in the mirror. Okay, then look in the mirror and say, what did I do wrong? Why wasn't I saying something when Cuomo was destroying this state? Why didn't I step up? Why didn't I have a plan? Why didn't I convince him? Why didn't I support somebody? Why didn't I do anything until all of a sudden I knew he was gone? And then I just had to put a knife in his back. How about that? When the Kingslayer, this is James, took out the king, you're like, great, guess I'm up. So you did. Then all of a sudden you don't know who he is. Andrew who? Whatever, I don't know. All of a sudden, now you care. You were lieutenant governor for what, 7 years, whatever it was? 7 years, something like that? Now you care. Okay, now you care.
This crisis has created an opportunity to redefine ourselves, and we must embrace it.
Okay.
But as we embark on this new era for our state,
we
need to take a hard look in that mirror and deal with harsh realities.
Tell me what those realities are. Okay, we're doing some mirror looking. I like mirror looking. Those of you who know me, I love it. I say all the time, I cannot point my finger at you until I point at me first. I always say that because I believe that. So I like mirror looking. It hurts sometimes when I got to accept my failures, things I've done wrong, mistakes, but it's a good thing. Let's look in the mirror. Let's do it. I'm with you. Let's do this.
Like the fact that 300,000 New Yorkers left our state last year alone.
Yes! I love that. Okay, now what? This is going to get good now. You're accepting how bad you are and how bad our government has been. 300,000, that's official. About 500,000, about 500,000 actually left. But 300,000 is official. But about 500,000 actually left because they're not coming back. So about 500,000 have actually left, aren't coming back. We've lost almost 2 million in the past 11 to 12 years. That's why we lost already one congressperson. If it keeps going, we'll lose 2 or 3 next time. That's how bad it is. So, okay, good. Ooh, okay, I'm liking this so far. Here we go. Bring it home. Come on, mirror looking.
That's the steepest population drop of any state in the nation.
Yep, correct.
An alarm bell that cannot be ignored.
I agree.
To those who left temporarily because of the pandemic or trying to decide their next steps during these uncertain times, I have one message.
Tell me.
You do not want to miss what's going to happen next.
I have one thing to tell you. You don't want to miss what's going to happen next. I have given you no reason to think that whatsoever. I've given you no new ideas or plans. I'm only going to help out government workers. I'm not stopping the mandates. COVID is not done. All I care about is administrators. I'm going to screw the farmers and business people over. You don't want to miss this. I mean, I know you guys like watching The Walking Dead. I'm going to give you The Walking Dead. You guys like watching the Apocalypse? Apocalypse is here. You're not going to want to watch this. Tell you what, guys, what she should be saying is, you're not going to miss this, so watch it from Jersey or watch it from Florida, because I don't know what she's talking about.
Right now, in real time, we're building a new New York worthy of your talent.
A new New York? Now you're biting off me? Don't bite off me. That's my new New York. You people are watching my stuff. Okay.
And your ambitions. We're going to jumpstart our economic recovery by being the most business-friendly and worker-friendly state.
Did you hear what she just said? We're going to be the most business-friendly and worker-friendly state in the United States. Now, for those who don't know, we have been ranked the least business-friendly state multiple years in a row by every organization that does this. The least. We are 50, not even 49. Take that, California. California, we're better than you. When it comes to being terrible for business, number one. You're gonna go from 50 to 1. That's what you're gonna do. I'm in. Tell me what you're gonna do. How are you gonna make that happen? I'm all ears. I won't even run if you got the right plan. I'll shut up. I'll be like Hochul 2022. All right, let's do it. Show me how.
In the nation.
Okay, that's a magic.
To entice people and businesses. We're investing millions of dollars to transform the downtowns of our cities into magnet.
Oh my God. We're going to use taxpayer money to transform downtowns. Has that ever worked? Ever? That has never worked. I've done at least 3. You know what? After this, I'm going to show you 3 videos from 2018. Of exactly this that has failed every damn time. Every time. Corning, Rochester, Buffalo, all failed. Every single time. DeWitt, we had to sell back. DeWitt cost us 10, 15 million, whatever it was, and we sold it for $1 because it was too expensive to upkeep. We're going to do that? Who's going to pay for that? That's her plan. The plan is same old garbage we've been doing for 20 years, has been failing, but this time it'll work because we're going to spend more money? Wow. 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 Whew. Okay, let me grab some of you guys because I'm ready to move on. Okay. Shelley says, county leaders were never exposed to COVID, neither are school superintendents around the students at all. If they're not around students, you're right. They don't see them at all. Yes. Dixie says the teachers replaced every year. I know. Yes. Literally every year. Yes. Absolutely. Larry Sharpe, he teaches disposal because new teachers get hired every year. Peak brilliance, because his teacher or father never both for him. I don't know why you're making this stuff up. No, she said they're irreplaceable. I didn't say disposable. She said irreplaceable. I said they're literally replaceable. So you made up disposable because I think you make up stuff. So I didn't say that. What I said was replaceable. They are replaceable every year, literally. So you just pulled that out of your ass. That's fine. I'm glad you're here. And a teacher or father, never both to him. No, it's not father. She could have done both. She did neither. I didn't say you couldn't do teachers. I said, what about fathers? She ignored them. So she is teacher or father, not me, and she is teacher. I'm teacher and father, and I don't think teachers are irreplaceable because they are replaceable. Fathers are not, and the evidence is in on that one. Data's in. Miss Science that she talks about, data is in on that one. The science is in. Fathers are not replaceable. Teachers are. So yes, I'm correct. Let's see if I can grab this here too. Let's see. Logic says county leaders work from home too, don't they? Yes, they didn't risk anything except their checks, and they kept to keep their checks. I completely agree. Yes, absolutely. Benjamin says, sure, many families have been torn apart over the past 2 years. 100%. 100%. Yes. So, all right. Let's see if I can go here. How can a teacher be a leader if they're medically untrained? Oh, Dr. Gov. I don't know where that one's going from. Sorry. I don't get that one. I'm sorry. I don't understand what you're trying to say there. All right. Let's see here. You have to have a master's degree to be a teacher in New York State. Yes. Teachers are trained in New York State. That's absolutely true. They go through a whole lot. That not only master's degree, you're right, Dixie, and they have to have a certain number of hours and all sorts of other things they have to do, not just that. Yes. So Jess says the wounds inflicted by the state. 100% yes. Joel says, ooh, that cost per student will go up again. Yep. Cuomo was so proud how much he spent per student. Yes, yes, yes. Absolutely. All right. Let's see here. Well, a lot of people, you guys give me a lot. I appreciate that. Yes. All right. And you'll thought Cuomo was bad. Thanks, Joe. Now you're going to rub it in? Yes. Christopher says, remote was great for some students. They actually excelled. That's true. Some did. And another thing about teachers is a lot of people went to homeschooling. We homeschool my youngest now, too. She's actually doing better now than she did when she was in school. So some do. And the reality of it is you should be able to teach your kid the way you want to. You should look at your kid and say what works for your kid. Some kids really need school. They need that, every day saying they need that. Some don't. You should teach your kid the way you think it's going to work for your kid, right? So it should be an option of choice. 100%, Chris. But by forcing all kids back in person with repetitive COVID testing, the kids are just guinea pigs for the data they'll use and prolong this nightmare. Yes, absolutely. Forcing the kids to wear masks all day isn't great for their mental health. Agreed. That's why I pulled mine out. I completely agree. Yes, yes, and yes. 100%. So, all right. Let's see here. Dustin says, check, solve everything. Yay. Isn't it always? Always? Yes. Yes. Oh my God. All right. Jess says, difference with Queen Kathy is there's no safe word. Exactly. If I'm paying for that, I'm gonna have a safe word. At one point I go, whatever. Chicken dinner, whatever is my safe word. That sounds bad. Chicken dinner. Whatever. Chicken dinner. Okay. You can stop the boot on the neck at that point, right? You know when to stop. So yes, Glenn says safe word is science. Nicely done, Glenn. Nicely done. Nicely done. I love that. I love that. Very good. All right. Glenn says that goes on. That's what New York State's all about. Paying more for the same crappy services. Yeah, absolutely. 100%. Absolutely. So, Let's see here. Dustin says childcare workers drive a Mercedes soon. It'd be nice, I guess, if they earned it, then they could. Yes, absolutely. 100%. All righty. Joel says Uncle Joe would lean into the mic and whisper, it's all paid for. It's all free. It's free.
It's for new jobs and opportunities and position both legacy and emerging industries for success.
Oh, they see the government is going to set up both new and emerging and old businesses for success. You haven't been able to do that in 20 years, but now you got the plan. Okay. Tell me how.
We all know New York is already home to some of the most consequential industries in the world.
Not anymore.
Finance.
Stop with that finance. New York Stock Exchange is considering going to Texas. The New York Stock Exchange is considering going to Texas. Stop lying. What you were going to do, Cuomo was going to do, is he was going to raise money by taxing transactions. That was what we're going to do. He's going to put a tax on transactions because there's a lot of transactions. Man, banks love transaction fees. So he's going to put a little tax on that. And the finance industry said, do that and we're out. He went, just kidding, my friends. Who would ever do that? Just kidding. They were trying to do that and they were going to leave. Goldman Sachs considering moving to Miami. Miami, not even Orlando, Miami.
Retail, healthcare, technology.
There's no retail. Have you been in New York City? Just walk down the street. Out of every 3 stores, 4 stores, 1 or 2 is out of business. Retail's a fantasy. It's gone already. Been gone for years. Lou Rossman did a video on this about 3 days ago. If you have a chance, check his page out. It's at 6. I maybe show a piece of it. He's walking down First Avenue. It's places they haven't cared about in 2 years. Retail, what are you talking about? She just made this up.
Fashion, entertainment, just to name a few.
Entertainment, true. We say entertainment. We got that. That's true.
But there's plenty of room for growth.
That's true.
More shovel-ready sites for new manufacturing.
So what you might want to do is not make it hard to hire people. You could do that. Not make it hard to start a business. You could do that, but you won't.
Manufacturers and warehouses, improvements in our freight infrastructure, and investments in the tower.
Okay. How are you going to improve freight infrastructure when you're beholden to truckers? You can't. They're never going to let you build any freight. Not from the state level. You're going to have these private businesses, or you can't build it in the state. It ain't going to happen. So you made that up. That's just garbage. You made that up. It's never going to happen in a million years. You're going to build warehouses. Where are you going to build warehouses? For what? Who's going to build a warehouse? Amazon? That's it. So you're going to have more big business build Amazon warehouses? That's it. No one else is building a warehouse in a place. Who's building a warehouse in a place? Everything's getting shipped someplace. Only people getting warehouses, FedEx, Amazon. That's it.
Technology that'll power the jobs of the future. And
we're shutting down energy.
Make sure that we have a workforce trained to step into these jobs. That's why we'll invest smartly and strategically in workforce development programs. Because
workforce development programs always work. I'm trying to remember. Hold on. I'm going to give you the last time that worked. Right. Never. They never work. Workforce. Why would you think government employees who are usually in their 20s and 30s doing this, who haven't had jobs, would know anything about government workforce training, would have a freaking clue? No idea. This is garbage. Will never work. Colossal waste of time. Grifters. This is for grifters.
Which simply means matching people to training to jobs.
Why does government do that? Isn't that what businesses and schools are supposed to do? Literally. Isn't that what schools and businesses are supposed to do? Why are you doing this? I guess it's also part of your oath with the healthy thing.
I know the demand is strong. At every one of thousands of workplaces I visited, the universal...
You haven't visited thousands of workplaces, you liar.
...complaint is not having enough trained workers.
That's not true.
Every single place, it's the same.
Blatant lie. Absolutely not true. The amount of people I've met, many workers and many entrepreneurs as part of my business life. I meet them all the time. Trained workers isn't what they want. They want workers with a work ethic. That's what they want. The vast majority of entrepreneurs, this is for entrepreneurs, these are my entrepreneurs. The vast majority of entrepreneurs will hire almost anybody who has a work ethic, You will show up. You will give a damn. You will learn. You will work hard. They will hire you almost always. Small businesses, almost always. She's about small businesses, entrepreneurship. That's a common thing. I had a guy once tell me this story when I was running in 2018. He said, Larry, he said, here's my hiring criteria. Here's my hiring process. I tell them to be there at 8 a.m. I open the door at 7:55. If they're there, they're hired. That's his whole thing. He's like, I'll hire anybody with work ethic. I told that story at another event months later. And some guy said, oh my God, that guy's so right. He said, I had 12 interviews scheduled this week. 6 were no-shows and 4 were late. Only 2 showed up on time. Only 2. He hired both. The training's garbage anyway. What you learn in college doesn't help you in your job. You're always learning new stuff. It doesn't matter. Half of the college that we're teaching is garbage and useless. You know this. You've gone to college. You don't use your degree. None of you do.
And that's why we'll reboot our Workforce Development Office.
Oh, you got to reboot the Workforce Development Office, because that's the problem, is the Workforce Development Office, that the bureaucracy in Albany, that wasn't working. That's the problem.
I was in an Empire State Development, so it can build stronger relationships with
the Empire Workforce Development Center and Council should go away. It is nothing but a bad thing. It's a joke. It's a grift. It's a just way of funneling money. It is a terrible idea. They should all go away tomorrow.
With employers and move funding through our regional economic development councils.
She literally said it. Move funding through our regional economic development councils. Literally grift. She said it. We'll move funding through. Why is the government funding things? And then why does it go through this council? How about make an environment where people can grow? She honestly believes the only way is more bureaucracy and more grift. You know who's on those councils? People picked by her and people picked by the Assembly and the Senate. That's who's on those councils. They're all her friends and cronies. She's literally saying, I'll make my cronies happy. And you know who elects those people? Nobody. And the rules they make, who stops them? Nobody. There is literally no recourse whatsoever when these economic development councils do anything. No recourse, which is why in New York State, they'll want to build something or do something. Then they'll have public comment. The half of the county will get out and yell and scream at them. They'll nod their heads and do it anyway, because you have no recourse. What regional economic councils do, development councils do, is take the power away from the local people. Take it away. You have no recourse anymore. You can't even get mad at your local assemblyman or your local state senator because they had nothing to do with it. So they can't get mad at them either. You can't get mad at your governor. It was the Economic Development Council. I didn't do it. So no one's responsible as they raped your county. No one's responsible as they rape your county. She's saying we need more of that. That's going to work. Wow. Why do people like her?
Grow programs that train for jobs that are actually in demand in different parts of the state. And the smart way to do this is to have school districts, community colleges, SUNY and CUNY, all focused on the same.
So you're saying colleges could train people for jobs. Isn't that what college is supposed to do? But you figured out now that's SUNY and CUNY at one point were decent. Now, as useless as any other college. They're not helping anymore. They're wasting 4 to 6 years of someone's life to get a degree that they're never going to use and putting them in debt. That's what they're doing now. That's not great. Unless you're going to become a doctor or a lawyer or something like that, which is great. I hope you are, because those are good licensed professionals, engineers, good. If you're not doing those things, why are you going to a SUNY or CUNY school? For what? So you can be more in debt and party for 4 years?
Objectives. We're going to incentivize success.
Oh.
By tying up.
You're going to incentivize success. That means lowering taxes and giving benefits for entrepreneurs, right?
A portion of workforce funding to high job placement rates.
Oh, so you're gonna bribe the colleges. How does that work now? They do it now already. You do it with high schools. So high schools are now given extra cash if they have a high college placement. So what happens now? Nobody tells the kids to go into trade schools because you don't go to college then. Schools now force kids into college when they shouldn't go into college. Convince their parents to put them to college, go into heavy debt, so the school gets more money. So you're going to say high placement rate for colleges. Here's a better way of doing it. You ready for this? Here's the easiest way of doing it. Don't give any loans for colleges. Let colleges finance their own loans. Car dealers do it. You go to a car dealer right now, you buy a Ford or a Honda, or whatever you buy. You don't go to a bank and get money from it. You don't go to the government and get money for it. The actual dealership, Honda, has their own bank. It's called Honda Finance Corp or Ford Finance Corp, right? So they fund their own cars. They make money on the loan. What's wrong with that? Good idea. Everyone likes it. Let's go to the same thing. College now. You want to go to a college, it has its own bank, its own credit union, its own bank, and it funds your loan. Done. If you can't get a job, you can't pay back the loan. You go bankrupt or whatever, don't pay the loan back. They're screwed. Guess what I have to do? Make sure you can pay the loan back, which means they have to teach you something or lower their prices because you can't pay back that much. You can change the entire system by just letting colleges fund their own tuition. Solves the problem there. Pull the government out. Do it like that. Car dealers do it now. There's a model right now that we see that is working. Follow that same model. That could work. Or play some stupid incentive game, which people will just have more administrators for, and they'll just lie to you, which is what always happens. Whenever you demand perfection, you get deception. That's how it works every time. That's what you should do.
And we're going to make it easier to qualify as an MWBE so everyone has access to opportunities.
See, we'll make it easier to qualify as an MWBE. So white men, sorry.
It's a common sense approach.
Common sense?
By an uncommon level of funding. And
with an uncommon level of funding. From where?
It's going to help supercharge our economy. Our goal is for New York to be known as nationally as the place that grows and attracts the talent, and the businesses will follow.
She's made me speechless on how stupid that is, on how impossible that is. You know what states are growing right now? States like Wyoming. Is Wyoming doing any of this? No. You know what's also growing? Texas, Florida. Are they doing any of these things? No. They're doing none of these things, yet everyone's going there. Why wouldn't you instead do what they do? You know what those states have in common? No state income tax. Weird, huh? They got that in common.
And for businesses to succeed, they need a well-trained and educated workforce.
They do not need that. That is not required. That is absolutely not required. That's a fantasy from 30 years ago. That is no longer true. They need an experienced workforce that has a work ethic. That's required. Education's nice. I'm not against education. The idea that all we need to do is keep putting kids into $100,000 of debt is stupid. It is a bad idea. Please stop it.
And I believe to my very core that there's nothing more valuable than education and training when it comes.
You've just made that up. You can believe to your core you want. You believe a lie. That's not the most important thing. It's valuable, specifically for certain jobs, right? You want to be, again, a doctor, a lawyer, an engineer. She's 100% correct if you want to go into those fields. You don't want to go into those fields? Not the most important.
Comes to unlocking opportunity and prosperity.
Okay, the people who are opening up opportunity and prosperity are entrepreneurs. Entrepreneurship and education, generally speaking, don't go well together. Entrepreneurs hire the educated. Entrepreneurs are rarely really highly educated. Sometimes they are, but it's rare. Most entrepreneurs are not highly educated. They hire the higher educated, usually, but they also care because they're not educated. They also people who are experienced. So this is simply not true. Think of all the people you know who have college degrees who are making minimum wage or baristas. All the people who have college degrees who've never used them. This is a fantasy. This is stuff people make up. And the sad part is no politician will tell you this. I do. I'm on the ground. I see this every day. All of this is shit from 30 years ago that people just won't give up. Stop this. It is hurting us. It is crushing our youth.
It changes lives across generations. I know.
Yes, generations ago.
In my own family's circumstances.
Your own family.
My grandparents fled Ireland as teenagers because they had nothing. They were poor with no hint of opportunity in their home country. My grandfather first became a migrant farm worker in the fields of South Dakota.
Okay.
Then later he and grandma were domestic workers. Then it all changed when he heard those great jobs in a place called Buffalo, New York, at the Bethlehem Steel Plant. And grandma found a job at Bell Aerospace making parts for our planes during World War II.
This is World War II. So they came here before World War II. Yes. When getting a high school diploma was a big deal, yeah, she's right. That was 80 years ago. I was talking 30 years. She's like, education is critical. Let me tell you a story about 80 years ago. What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? Let me tell you a story about 80 years ago.
That was their ticket to the life that they came in search
It was.
But what really transformed my family was the fact that my father was able to get a college degree at night while working by day at the same steel plant as his father.
Yep.
If he hadn't taken that leap and invested in his own education, I would be living a very different life today.
80 years ago, that's true.
My whole family would be.
True.
And that's why I'm so focused on expanding educational opportunities.
No, I agree. That's why you're so focused on doing shit that worked 80 years ago. That's what I'm thinking. And because we're moving forward. This is Excelsior. We're moving forward to 1945. We are moving. That's where we're going.
Starting by making the state's tuition assistance program available to part-time students. I believe that SUNY and CUNY are the engines of social mobility.
They are not. That also was true. That used to be true. That is no longer true. That if you go back to even the 70s, the 80s, CUNY and SUNY was critical in moving people to the ladder. That's absolutely true. That is no longer the case anymore. It's just not true at all.
And have untapped potential that still needs to be unleashed and harnessed. So today, I'm outlining a vision to make SUNY the best statewide public higher education system in the nation.
You know, just because you say this doesn't make it true. So she is now, in the next year, going to fight COVID failure, obviously. Second, going to make New York go from 50 to number 1 for friendliest business. That's amazing. And going to make SUNY CUNY the best in the nation by throwing checks at everything. All of her plans are just giving more money. She got it all going. I love it. I don't. If that was the problem, why don't we just throw lots of money at everything? And if it doesn't matter how much money you spend, why don't we just, I don't know, write everybody and everything, lots of checks. I'm in. Let's do it. $100,000 per person in New York State, 10 million for every business. Let's do that. Every person gets $100,000. Every business gets 10 million. Done deal. In fact, I have a business too. I want my 10 million and my $100,000. I want both. In fact, I got a couple businesses. So I would like a couple $100,000 and I mean, a couple of 10 million, so 20 million. I want 20 million and I want my 100K. Let's do that. It drives me crazy. But people go, she's great. Oh my God. Just terrible. Oh my God. Logic says, didn't we already have this before? Lord of mercy. Cheers. New York gagged me. It is terrible. Yes. Oh my God. It is. I love that. It's good. Chad says, I guess it technically makes it easy to deal with. I guess maybe-ish. Don't know. Dustin says, allow them to write off cows and chickens over time. Yes, that'll help. Yes, absolutely. Shona says, media was silent because it went against their agenda. It was peaceful, so there was nothing to report. Didn't get out of hand. Oh, the event you're talking about. I'm sorry, that's some other event there was today. I apologize. Yes. Shelly says, farmers struggle because of the farm bill that she supported. She's blaming all of her faults on everyone else. Yeah, but she said she was looking in the mirror. I guess someone else's mirror, not hers. Desiree says, of course, blame it on COVID. Of course. Yep. Absolutely. Logic says, I don't know if it's just me or is she constantly trying to out-cringe herself with each speech. Oh, my God. David says, FDR credit segregated housing. I know. I could go on. FDR was the one who made sure that there was unconditional surrender to make sure the war lasted longer, so more people died in 1945 versus us ending the war in 44. So yeah, all those things. He made sure Germany was bombed into oblivion so they couldn't compete with us. Yeah, 100%. Yes. Nothing but bad. All right. Dixie says, okay, let's give FDR credit. It took him over a decade and a half and a war to do it. I'm not impressed. Good point. Point taken, Dixie. Point taken. So, yes. All right. God. Avi says, is she declaring war on a germ? Yes, absolutely. 100%. Anyway, how could you declare war? War is an institution of the patriarchy. Ooh, I like that. She's a warmonger. Nicely done. Yes. James says, nobody should ever look to an individual to solve a problem that affects hundreds of people, let alone millions. Yes, indeed. 100%. Yes, absolutely. All right. Let's see. Jess says, because of your administration's terrible mismanagement of the state. Yes, absolutely. David says, even though the Democratic Party threw me under a bus, I still love New York. Probably Andrew Cuomo. Well, he still makes tons of money here. So, yeah, she still makes tons of money here. Yes. So, all right. Francis says, you don't want to miss what's going to happen next. We'll be black-pilled. I think I know what's going next. 400 to 450,000 people gone in 2022. Francis, I sadly, you are right. Yes, that's the problem. Nothing's changing. Yes. Glenn says, Connecty did this and it failed hard. It always fails, Glenn. Her stuff always fails. It doesn't work. You know? Absolutely. Janet says, she's not my leader, but you, Larry, I would follow you into battle. Stride. Thank you. We prefer the peace, but no change. That's slavery. Yes. Yes. I love that. Yes, absolutely. You're correct. Larry's fired up today. Yeah. She does drive me crazy. She's not as crazy as Cuomo. I really hated Cuomo. So, yes. Glenn says, father's replaceable estate will be your dad. Yeah. God, I wish you were wrong, Glenn. You're like Avi. Avi makes me mad because he's right. I can't tell him he's wrong. You're doing the same thing now. You make me mad like Avi does. You're right. I wish you were wrong. But yeah, you're right. So anyway, let me keep going. All righty. Dixie says, on top of your master's degree, you need to pass a series of tests to get licensed. Yes, our teachers in New York, they're actually they are really very well trained. That's not a thing. And I don't know other states, so I can't tell you if they're well trained in whatever, Colorado or Florida. I don't know. But I do know in New York State, our teachers are trained and they're trained well. It isn't the teacher's fault. It is the problem that our administrators are hammering and handcuffing our teachers. That's the problem. Teachers are trained. Absolutely. Yes. So Ron says workforce development program, aka Marxism. Ron, what could go wrong in the work camps? What could go wrong? Right? Come on. Yes. Ron says most college kids cheat their way through. That's also true. Yes. And most do. That's also true. So, and I'll tell you that most of the colleges is not working. It isn't working. Most is not working at all. Avi says New York has no money and can't pay its bills. How are they going to fix the state? Borrow money and spend. Yes, absolutely. A meth head from Breaking Bad is more financially responsible than New York State. Yet again, Avi, you are correct. Yet again, you are correct. Yes, I wish. Yes, absolutely. Yes. So, all right. Alan says we need a petition to make her resign by we the people. There's not enough people in this state who want it to happen. Not yet. I hope soon. And we have to give them some hope on top of it. I think we can do that. So, yes. So we hope so. David says, how will government incentivize success compared to the free market? Well said. Absolutely. Absolutely. Logic says, New York Assembly and Senate are both full of dumpster fire trash fishes too. Yeah, kind of true. It's kind of true. Let me finish this up here if I can.
How? First, recruiting world-class faculty.
Look at how they slam the teachers again. Why do teachers support the governor or even your union? If you're a teacher, why? All they do is take a dump on you. It's always your fault when it's not your fault, teachers. I may sound like I'm a teacher. I'm not at all. They're in a terrible situation. Their administrators suck. Their supervisors suck. Their governor sucks. Their union sucks. They are in a terrible spot. So of course they're in trouble. But now she says, look in the mirror. Well, you're looking at some other mirror. Maybe your mirror's tilted because your mirror always goes to somebody else. It's not going to you at all. So now you're saying that 10 teachers are bad. Train teachers, recruit faculty. Our teachers are so bad now? They're so bad now? They're some of the best trained teachers in the country. It's not teacher's fault. Look in the real mirror. It's your fault. It's your administrator's fault. It's your union's fault. Your teachers' union is garbage. Your policies are garbage. Your administrators, at least half of them, are useless and should go away tomorrow. All these plans, the Regents diploma, garbage, useless. The Board of Regents, Useless. It is, in fact, it hurts more than it helps. Did you say that? No, that's not, no. We're going to train teachers because that's the problem. Train and recruit teachers. That's your plan. Wow.
Creating a flagship institutions at Stony Brook and the University at Buffalo. Investing more in our premier research facilities at Binghamton and Albany. And leaning into the strengths of our...
Why is government investing in these facilities? If they're valuable, shouldn't the private sector invest in them and create the smart way of doing things, which would be incubators that actually function and work? And MIT, one of the best colleges on the planet, universities on the planet, is heavily, it's basically nothing but a big incubator. It's basically what MIT is. I mean, I'm exaggerating a bit, but if you know MIT, it's basically an incubator. It's what it is. Successful. Why aren't you doing incubators instead of government investing in garbage? Just creating more government jobs.
Four-year comprehensive colleges, our technology colleges, and our community colleges, but also providing childcare on each campus.
Childcare on
Let's
campuses.
increase enrollment to 500,000 students by 2030.
Why would I want to increase enrollment? I don't care about enrollment. What I care about is happy New Yorkers. That's the thing you have to worry about, not enrollment. Do 500,000 New Yorkers want to go to school and go to college? If that's true, great. If it isn't, let them go work or go join the military or get a job or whatever they want to go to trade school. Let them do what they want to do. This idea of pushing people into college is what's hurting us. It validates the absolute garbage college system that we have here. Our college system is a flaming pile of shit. Useless, that does more harm than good. Again, with the exception of lawyer, doctor, something where you have to go, that's different, with that exception. And that's still bad. That is still bad. But the rest is a flaming pile of shit. Useless, doing more harm than good, breaking kids' spirit, putting them in debt, giving them no life skills, and making them spend 4 to 6 years. And your answer is teachers don't teach well enough. Or your answer is give them more money. Break the system. It's a piece of garbage. And I will tell you that to your face, anybody. It's a garbage system. Fix the system. Stop rewarding the bad behavior.
Making SUNY a national leader on equity and increasing the number of diversity in every community.
Because that's, what's missing? Equity and diversity. That, you got it. That's number one. That'll work.
With degrees and credentials that'll launch middle-class careers. And
with degrees that will launch middle-class careers. In what?
Ensuring that SUNY campuses spur economic growth in their own surrounding communities. As we upgrade our statewide higher education.
The only way you do that is by creating incubators. That's how you do that. You create incubators.
Institutions. We also have to acknowledge their populations at risk of falling through the cracks.
There are.
Unless we target job training and educational opportunities to them as well.
Oh,
for example,
you got to help them.
We know that incarcerated people who participate in correctional education programs are far less likely to reoffend.
This is true.
And 13 times more likely to obtain employment after returning home.
It's true.
That outcome benefits the formerly incarcerated,
yes,
employers in need of workers, and the taxpayers of New York.
Correct.
And it's the right thing to do.
Yes,
so
yes,
today
yes.
I'm announcing a new Jails to Jobs initiative.
Oh, a program, because programs always work. This is going to call something cool, jobs to something.
So incarcerated people have the support they need to find employment during reentry.
Okay.
We're also going to restore the tuition assistance program for incarcerated people again, ending a 30-year ban.
Got it.
As we create economic opportunity in every...
So all the kids who didn't go to jail, they get $100,000 of debt. People who do go to jail, they get free college. Not sure I like that plan. I mean, not sure I like that plan. The problem is, any job where you would need a college degree, are they going to hire a felon? Think about that for a minute. Any job that requires a college degree, what are the odds they're going to hire a felon? This is insanely freaking stupid. Instead, what I would do is I'd realize that the people who hire felons are almost always small business owners. And small business owners rarely require their employees to have college degrees. Sometimes, but very often they don't. And the kind of job that a felon's going to get is going to be one who doesn't require a college degree. How about instead do two things you want to help felons? Number one, trade schools in prison. This way they can actually work for their school. They can work to pay off their school. How about in the prison? I'm not joking. People could actually hire people in the prison to do some of the work in the prisons. Yeah, they could pay for their school, pay for their training. Imagine if you just had a school in there and the school could give the training for free and then sell the products to make money. Oh, isn't that crazy? If they want to, voluntarily, obviously. If you want to do it. You're learning. You could. They're getting an actual certificate to do something. Now you get out. You're a felon. I'm a guy who needs someone to do some physical work. You've shown me that you can do it because you now have a resume of 1 year, 2 years, 5 years working for a company, doing stuff, being able to produce on time, showing me a work ethic, which is all I care about anyway, is a work ethic. You can do the job, you have a work ethic. How about that? Then, how about the business owner? You hire felons, no payroll tax, no state payroll tax for 2 years. Larry, they'll hire them for 2 years and then fire them. Good, you're training my felon force. That's way better than some stupid program, which will cost tens of millions of dollars, create a bunch of useless jobs, fail like there's no tomorrow because they always fail. Or you can do what I just said, which would cost you nothing and produce actual results. But yeah, I guess your plan will work too.
Every sector, there's one industry that'll be working around the clock for years to come.
Around the clock.
My friends in the construction trades.
Oh, they don't work around the clock. I don't know.
Building infrastructure, the likes of which we've never seen.
Never seen bridges before.
Infrastructure can mean different things to different people.
Yeah.
To me, it's exciting because it's all about creating connections, connecting neighborhoods, connecting people to jobs, and connecting people to their families.
It's true.
Substandard infrastructure can mean long commutes, lost time from family, even missing a child's bedtime.
So could COVID lockdown restrictions, but it's fine.
Time in a tire repair shop after hitting a pothole adds more stress than anyone needs.
It's true.
And that's why I view building and improving our infrastructure as a quality of life issue.
Oh, quality of life.
In November, I stood with my former colleagues in Congress on the White House lawn when President Biden signed a historic infrastructure bill.
That's historic.
It's a once-in-a-century chance to invest. We cannot let this moment slip by, and we won't. New Yorkers demand the best, and that's exactly what they're going to get.
We don't demand the best. That's not true. We've accepted far less than the best many times. That's not true. You just made that up.
Just look what my administration has already announced over the past 4 months.
Tell me.
We'll finally transform Penn Station into a world-class facility.
We have been saying that since Cuomo for years. Cuomo said that like 18 times. He said it was done already. Got to go there. It's great. It's not. It's a disaster. It's fine. I live here.
Worthy of our city. Ensure that the Gateway project finally moves forward. We'll deliver long overdue upgrades at both LaGuardia and JFK Airport.
You've been saying that. He told us that he'd already fixed it, but I've been in LaGuardia. It's a disaster. It's a disaster. It's not fixed.
And finish the 2nd Avenue subway to connect East Harlem to...
It has only been, I'm not joking, 15 years to build the 2nd Avenue subway. If you count when it was first talked about, 30 years to build the 2nd Avenue subway. Now you're going to fix it. Because that's what we need, is the 2nd Avenue subway. No one's riding the subway anymore because they're afraid people literally get stabbed almost every weekend, I think every weekend, on the subway. Just 2 days ago, guy got stabbed in the neck. Was it yesterday? Guy got stabbed in the neck twice in a subway. You're going to build another one. That's problem solved.
Jobs. But we're just getting started.
Oh, okay.
Today, I'm announcing a bold idea.
Bold.
Take an old, unused 14-mile-long right-of-way and create what we're calling the Interborough Express, a new rail service that'll connect Brooklyn and Queens.
So a rail service, this is bold and new, that connects Brooklyn and Queens. We have one that's called the G line, but that's fine. This is bold revolution. We're gonna get another train. Okay, that's not a bad thing, but stop saying it's bold. It's another train.
I'm directing the MTA to immediately commence an environmental review so we can get that project rolling.
Immediately create an environmental review. She just said we have shovel-ready things. This environmental review will take at least 2 years. At least 2 years, if not more. People are going to stop it. This new train from Queens to Brooklyn will take at least 10 years to build. I'm not joking. It will take at least 10 years to build, at least 10 years to build, and will cost so much money and no one will use it. That's my prediction. Say it now. That will happen. No one will use it.
Down the track. I'm also directing the Port Authority to get moving on the Cross Harbor Tunnel. As I said,
been talking about that for at least 15 years.
Infrastructure is all about connections, and we need to reconnect neighborhoods that were severed by asphalt highways, disproportionately impacting communities of color.
Okay.
We're going to reverse the damage that was done more than half a century ago.
Yeah.
With projects like the Kensington Expressway in Buffalo, I-81 in Syracuse, the Inner Loop in Rochester,
They're
and
all
the
collapsing.
Cross Bronx Expressway.
Cross Bronx Expressway is a joke.
You know, I've traveled to every one of our 62 counties.
Stop lying.
In each of the past 7 years, so I know every single road and highway and bridge.
You know every single road, highway, and bridge. I'm glad you don't exaggerate. Ever. Every half of you. Do you write this stuff or you just normally exaggerate? Or you just know I'm full of crap? You just, I know, you don't know every road and bridge. Stop.
And I think I have a personal experience with just about every pothole in New York as well.
Every pothole too.
On the Long Island Expressway. I'm coming after them too. And we're making the largest ever investment in New York's digital infrastructure. Putting $1 billion into connecting more New Yorkers with high-speed internet.
Oh.
This investment will boost innovation and economic growth, especially in our most remote communities.
It's a disaster upstate.
There's one more piece of critical infrastructure in our plan to rebuild.
You can't do that because the law, we've already given monopolies away to these companies, so they've already screwed us over. We have to now screw the companies over, which we should, by the way, because those were dumb monopoly moves. But yeah.
Making our infrastructure more resilient against climate change.
Oh, okay, good. Now we're ready.
I remember just days after being sworn into office, we were slammed with Hurricane Ida.
This is true.
I walked the streets of East Elmhurst, Queens, and witnessed
you always out there walking streets
of an epic collision between Mother Nature and our inferior infrastructure.
Every pothole.
With devastating consequences.
Every road.
It was a cruel reminder that too much time has already been lost in the fight against climate change.
Gotcha.
And these events are no longer rare. The next one is coming.
Got to ban
Look
straws.
no further than upstate counties constantly battered by so-called 500-year flooding.
See that?
Or the tunnels in New York City and communities on Long Island still undergoing repairs more than a decade after Hurricane Sandy
hit. Took over a decade and they haven't fixed Sandy yet.
To our way of life.
But you think you got the plan when we can't fix stuff from Hurricane Sandy still. But you're going to get this one going on. I don't know. What would make you think this is just a grift of cash? This is a handout to a bunch of people. None of this is going to work or do anything with a damn. It's a massive amount of people, and you're going to still see the 300,000 people leave this year.
Here and now. And that's why we must and we will implement an ambitious agenda to meet this moment.
Yep.
We've already started with increasing the Environmental Bond Act to $4 billion to go on the ballot this fall. So we have
$4 billion for an Environmental Bond Act. Because you know what New York State needs? More debt. More debt.
Resources we need. I'm now announcing a nation-leading $500 million investment in offshore wind energy that'll create thousands of good-paying green jobs.
Thousands.
As we build out our wind energy capacity and continue our transition to clean energy, our reliance on fossil fuels must be phased out.
Of course, I've been upstate and I watch all those windmills not moving at all the time. And if you have windmills in your area, you know what I'm talking about. Not moving at all. Just sitting there, nothing moving.
In September, I announced 2 clean energy mega projects to put us on a path to achieve the ambitious goal of cutting 80% of New York City's power plant emissions by 2030.
Wow, you can be around for a while.
New construction in the state will be zero emission by 2027.
Wow.
And we'll build climate-friendly electric homes and promote electric cars, trucks, and buses.
I love it.
You know, protecting our environment is personal to me.
Personal. Okay.
I was born at a time and in a place where orange smoke billowed out of the factory smokestacks, literally blocking the skies with a horrible stench I can still recall to this day.
You exaggerate everything.
Toxic waste into one of the world's largest freshwater lakes.
I
live surrounded by the causes of climate change, and now I'm living with the effects.
Okay.
So while we confront climate crisis, we will address one of the most basic of human needs, and that is to also feel safe. On streets, in schools, and in homes.
Yep.
Time and time again, New Yorkers tell me that they don't feel safe. They don't like what they see on the streets.
Yeah, you're right. They don't feel safe. This is true.
And things feel different now, and not always for the better.
Yep.
And it's not just New York City, it's cities all across America.
Very true.
And many factors contribute to our streets feeling less safe.
Yeah.
Including a very real uptick in gun violence nationwide since the start of the pandemic.
It's not just that. See, the guy just said he stabs. There's stabbings every day in New York City. So how about just violence? Not just gun violence. Violence. That's what I would like. It's not violence.
Now, this is not a return to the dark days of the 70s and 80s and 90s.
That's worse.
That's not our metric for success.
We
need to get back on track. In October, I signed a bill that closed loopholes in gun possession and registration.
And that solved it all.
Making it easier for law enforcement to track down weapons used in crimes.
Yeah, so after someone's shot, there's a better chance cops will catch that guy. That's, I think, nice, but the person's still shot.
Prevent gun trafficking. And we banned the sale of ghost guns.
That solved it right there.
We will double down on practical, proven law enforcement strategies to combat gun violence. Working with Mayor...
You know what you could do? End the black market.
Mayor Adams in New York and the Lieutenant Governor, who I've asked to take lead for our administration, will form a new consortium. Unprecedented cooperation between New York State Police, the NYPD, and other law enforcement agencies, including our neighboring states.
It'll be like Homeland Security, because what could go wrong? When they made Homeland Security, then everything was perfect, right? And
we'll trace guns used in crimes and stop the flow of guns into our state. Meanwhile, we'll triple the resources for both our gun tracing efforts as well as for successful community-based programs.
We'll just put more people in jail for gun crimes, because what could go wrong?
Fighting gun violence is critical.
No, it isn't.
We must address other...
Fighting violence is critical. And there's the underlying issues of the violence. That's critical. Fighting gun violence is not critical. Having situations where people don't want to kill each other, that is critical, and that's hard. Why don't we do that instead?
Factors contributing to the pervasive unease that many are feeling in our streets.
Look, we already have the SAFE Act, and the SAFE Act, I've been told more than once, already solved everything. Like, that kept us safe. It's got safe in the name, Governor. SAFE Act. Clearly, we are now safe from gun violence. We have a SAFE Act, which is 2013. So we've been safe from guns for 8 years. You're behind the curve.
Includes the humanitarian crisis unfolding right before us, the rise in street homelessness. Our fellow New Yorkers who are in this situation deserve our compassion, and they will receive it along with our support.
Tell me how.
We will create teams of mental health professionals and social workers who will partner with New York City, and we'll reach homeless individuals and move them into shelters and housing.
That's what we'll do. We'll just have people walk around and clean the homeless people up and put them in the houses and shelters, and done deal. Why didn't we think of that? Just hire more people, because, we have we have unlimited funds. We're going to hire more people, and they're going to go around the street and grab people and put them in the houses and shelters. She literally just said that. And that's going to make it work. That's someone who does not understand the homelessness problem at all. Not even freaking close. Many people who are homeless, there's problems they have that are not what it's not like I don't have a home. That's not the only problem. Many of them are working poor. A shelter is not going to work for them. That's number one. Number two, many of them, compared to the home population, have mental illness. So a home ain't going to help with them. Some of them have been out so long, they don't want a home. Bad. She has no idea what she's talking about. No idea.
At the same time, we know that street homelessness only accounts for a small fraction of the homeless population.
Yeah.
Beyond those sleeping on the streets, tens of thousands more people move in and out of shelters as they try to secure a place to call home. And tragically, many of them are children.
Yes.
We need to focus on addressing the root cause of homelessness.
Yeah, which might be having more opportunities for people to have good jobs, and letting people build tiny houses so they can have cheaper housing. You could do that. You could pull away versus trying to force. You could pull away and let people actually make houses that people want.
Unmet mental health needs, poverty, addiction, and housing insecurity.
Yeah.
Every New Yorker deserves access to affordable housing. whether they're at the risk of homelessness
It's true.
or
I like
simply
that.
struggle to pay the rent on time each month.
I like that.
So many people not only face tremendous economic hardship, but here's the double hit.
Tell me double hit.
Housing prices have also contributed to escalate that possibility out of the reach of many, worsening this situation even more.
Why don't you just have price controls on everything? Just say every house is $1,000 a month, period, no matter what the house is, whether it's a, whatever, whether it's a high rise or a hovel. It's $1,000 a month, period. That's it. Do that. Just do your thing where you mandate stuff. I don't understand
and that's
this.
why I'm launching a new 5-year housing plan to create and preserve 100,000 affordable homes.
We're going to preserve 100,000 affordable homes. What's that mean? They're going to seize land and say, you can't change anything. They're going to make price controls. I wasn't joking. She's just going to order 100,000 places. They just can't raise rents. That's your answer. I was right. I'll just mandate it.
Including 10,000 units with supportive services for high-risk populations like runaway youth and formerly incarcerated individuals. And we can no longer ignore the plight of NYCHA residents living in sometimes deplorable conditions.
Yeah. You know what you could do? Let me give you an answer with NYCHA. I'll give you an answer. Let them all rent to own. Let every single person have an opportunity to own their apartment. All of them. If they start owning the apartments, they'll get better. Some of the places will be bought up by permanent capital. Some will be bought up by individuals, but people make a choice because they'll now have their own money to do what they need to do with it. And those will be renovated by private capital or by individuals, either by permanent capital or by individuals. They'll be renovated on their own as they buy and sell. People will invest in them voluntarily. If I knew that an entire building could be renovated and sold off, you're telling me there aren't tons of people who wouldn't invest in that? Of course they would. Those houses will become better off because some people will move, some won't. But you're going to have to upgrade them all to upgrade any of them. So the entire place gets renovated without one taxpayer dollar. It's literally that simple. Encourage people to invest, and they will. Or we could just print more money.
Lieutenant Governor and I will work with the City of New York and this legislature on concrete action this section.
Got it.
So we'll also fix outdated land use laws that hold back our housing supply.
I like that.
We'll encourage transit-oriented development, and the conversion of hotels and offices into housing is part of our overall.
Yeah, but you don't have a choice because retail is falling apart. See, business is gone. Yeah.
Accomplishing everything I've proposed thus far hinges on one thing.
Tell me.
A government people trust.
Oh, is that what it hinges on? I thought it was money. Yeah, we're going to wrap this up. No. What it actually does is money, not that. Everything you've done hinges on cash. And none of it's going to work, except for one thing it will work. It is absolutely going to be able to get a bunch of people to grift and get a bunch of cash off of you. A lot of your cronies are going to make a lot of money, to include your hubby and all his friends. They're going to make a lot of money. That's for sure. So if you're one of those people, this is a great plan. I love that. Everything else is a disaster. I had to show you that, guys. I apologize for going so long. But there was just so much. There's more garbage, but that's enough. I've punished you enough. I don't want to punish you anymore. I had to watch this, so you had to be punished with me. But it was bad. Guys, the things I talked about were actual plans to fix the things that she was talking about. I gave you actual ideas that would work. I want them to work. I want people to follow them. We can fix this state and others if we stop just throwing money at everything. If you care about libertarianism, libertarianism.com. Click that link as I've shown you before. It helps the page. It helps support us. Please head there. Take some of those questions. Take some of those tests. It's amazing, a lot of fun. And there's also cool swag you can get too. They support this show. If you want to support the show, libertarianism.com. Sign up. Take some courses. Get some merch. Everybody's happy. And of course, as always, like and comment and share. I'm going to take off, guys. I will be here tomorrow. So I will see you all tomorrow.